Hi, it's Becky from The Foxy Nail Boutique, and we're diving right in. Today's video is part of my fruit series installment, and we're going to be trying some new products that I recently unboxed in one of my previous videos in order to create some fun pineapple themed nails today. And with this set of 6 nail polishes called Tropical Glow, Beetles always includes a nice pamphlet. And just to kind of unbox and unveil again what the items were that were included, we did get a really pretty yellow F685. These are all very sheer, almost like syrup texture, definitely the sheer kind of nail polishes. And we won't be using all of these in today's set, but F687 is definitely going to be included. So I'm going to set that over there with my other Beetles colors. Then we have F690, a very pretty sheer red jelly color. And then right next to it is a bit brighter, more of a hot pink and purple undertones, F689. And then this kit I did pick up from Amazon, and like all the products you'll be seeing here in today's video, I do include links down in the description so you can take a look at those after the video. Also today we're going to be using these really pretty neon foils. So they kind of have like a cast to them, an iridescent cast to them, and I did also include a link for those. And what I didn't mention at the beginning of the video is the type of nail we're using today is a long square from Gellaktik. And those are a brand that I do like to use quite often because I do like the sturdiness of the nail tips. This particular one does not have the pre-etched underneath, but you could always use an e-file just to get some rougher surface. Now my inspiration for this first nail, and it's not the thumb, it's actually the pointer finger, is those colors you would find in a tropical sunset. So that bright, vibrant, reddish orange color, and then a deeper, richer yellow color. And that yellow is actually number C621. It was not included in the kit that I unboxed at the beginning. It's actually from a different Beetles kit, which I'll be doing a video for coming out in a little while. So I blended these two colors together, and the other color is from a brand called Rosalind, and it's C218, which you do see me use that brand quite often in some of my designs. They have a nice selection of colors in one of their kits. And I'm using the blending brush here just to kind of work those two colors together to give that ombre effect, and then I'll cure for 60 seconds. And then next I'm coming in with that 25mm brush again to go over the diagonal line that I created initially. And then what I want to do again is to do some more blending, and in order to do a second layer and to make that ombre a little bit smoother. So I'm going to layer in again with the yellow and making sure that there is enough of that on there, because sometimes one color can suddenly become a little more dominant when you're doing your ombre. So you do want to go back over and you can adjust it in that second layer if you feel like, okay, well maybe I want a little more of the orangey red or a little less. And while you watch me work here, I just want to take a second and thank all my current subscribers and my new subscribers. Welcome. This is quite a journey for me as I'm getting used to recording videos and editing videos. So thank you for taking the time to watch me. I know there's a lot of choices out there and so many wonderful nail creators, and I can get lost for hours on watching them. And if by the end of the video you enjoyed what you saw here today, please leave a like. It will help me go a long way in creating my new content, and also to let me know what you enjoy watching. You can always leave a comment if you have any suggestions or recommendations for what you'd like to see in future videos. So getting back to today's video, I don't have one of those little tools that you can pick up the blending sponges with. You know, it's kind of like a metal tool that has these little prongs that come out at one end. It's on my list of tools that I do want to purchase at some point. So for now, I just grab a set of extra tweezers, use that to pick up the little sponge, and then continue to blend these two colors together to make the best, most gradual ombre effect. You know, trying not to, show any real harsh line between the two. I just wanted to really represent what a golden, beautiful sunset on a tropical paradise would look like. And then once I have that second layer complete, I will cure it and leave it at that. And the nail actually we're working on right now is the pointer finger. I kind of skipped over the thumb for right now, and we'll go back to that in a little bit. But this is that new jelly blue color that I'm using from the kit. It's the F687 that we unboxed earlier. And I put a little bit down on the resin palette, and then I'm grabbing a different brush. I'm not sure of the millimeter size of this one. It was in a kit that, is just kind of a cheaper nail brush kit. At some point, I'll probably invest in some really good brushes. But for now, these are doing the trick, getting the job done. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to make sure I have a nice clean line, and I was inspired again by this little image of colors. I love that contrast of the pale blue, blue like water you would find in a tropical location. And I am kind of hooked on that effect where you can see through the nail like this. And then I'm grabbing my Gellaktik top coat and I'm dipping in, a dotting tool, and I'm just coming in underneath and putting those little dots. And when I cure it for 60 seconds, it's going to give that swimming pool or water effect, and it's really neat. And that way too, you don't have to worry about the top surface of the nail being kind of lumpy from when you're adding this, top coat in little droplets. And when you have a sheer kind of nail polish, it really looks neat. And it honestly, with the blue, it looks like water just rippling. And I love it. So I'm going to go back over and do a second coat of this, just the color, and then I'm all done with the dotting, and then I'll give this a cure for 60 seconds as well. And next up, I'm going to grab my Beetles matte top coat, and I'm just going to come over and top coat the top part where we have the orange and yellow sunset. And you'll see the reason why a little bit later on that we do this. I will use a glossy top coat for the free edge portion of the nail over top of that blue water section. And after that's all cured for 60 seconds, we will add some embellishments. So here I grabbed some black flowers, and these are the little plastic flowers that come in maybe, 2 or 3 sizes. This particular set only had 2 sizes, a large and a small. And then I have been using a lot of these really tiny 1mm rhinestones that are pointed back. And the pointed back ones fit really nicely directly down into the large flowers, and they just kind of rest in there and sit in there really good. And I've been using this new MAC Art gem glue, and this was one I recently purchased in an Amazon haul that I had a video out earlier for. And the tricky thing about these little pointed back rhinestones is that they are so tough to pick up. So I'm using my wax pencil and just trying to negotiate them in there. And then I really want this set of nails to sparkle. So I also purchased from Hobby Lobby actually over the summer a set of 80 rhinestones and they're flat back, so they fit nicely into the very small black flowers. And I'm also placing them just here, kind of intermixed, you know, entwined in between the flowers as well, to really give it a shimmer. And I just think that contrast of the black against or between the sunset and the water is so beautiful. It just stands out, you know, like a silhouette. And just to let you guys know too, I'm currently not an affiliate for any of the brands and any of the products that you do see on my videos. You know, it may change in the future, but I will just always let you know at the beginning of the video if it is sponsored. And I think sponsored videos are great. I love watching other nail creators who do unbox brands and products that they are sponsored by, so that it gives us a chance, you know, as nail artists and just nail lovers in general, to see the new products and to have someone else test them out before we, you know, commit to purchasing those items. So I think they definitely have a purpose. Next up is this little pack of the smallest, tiniest little flat back pearls that I have ever seen, and I got those from Hobby Lobby, and I just thought they would make a nice little, you know, sprinkling of white, just to kind of break up the black flowers a little bit and draw attention to this part of the nail. And they fit perfectly. So I would say, if you haven't gone to Hobby Lobby to kind of just hunt around for some nail embellishments, it is a great place to go, especially if they're having like their 50% off, you know, their jewelry items. And that's when I went. It just happened to be a coincidence. I was on vacation visiting my family, and I decided, you know, hey, let's go. We needed to go shopping for something, and let's go to Hobby Lobby. And sure enough, that's what I stumbled upon. So it's going to be another one of my go-to places now, I think, to find things. I did watch one other nail creator mention she had been to Hobby Lobby, and I saw the items she picked up, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And I have that video posted if you want to see how I use those embellishments. Okay, so for here we're working on the middle finger, and I'm trying to design a cool looking drink made out of a piece of pineapple. So I've never had a drink like this, you know, out of a piece of fruit, but it just always looks so luscious and delicious. So instead of making just kind of a normal, I guess, pineapple themed set of nails where I do, you know, yellow pineapples and things like that, I wanted this to be really, to stand out. I wanted it to be really colorful and vibrant and just a little over the top, I guess, because I wanted it to stand out and just kind of scream summer colors and tropical paradise. So here you see me just kind of doing that crisscross pattern that you see on a pineapple, and I wanted it all to be outlined first in the black, and then after I cure that for 60 seconds, I'm going to come back in and I put several of the colors on the palette that I'm going to be using. And I wanted it to be mixes of like blues and greens and yellows and that same bright orangey red. And I'm just kind of randomly going through and just putting little swipes of the color on each section. So one of the big challenges I feel like I face right now with being a press-on nail artist and content creator is just getting time to edit these videos, because you're always trying to record, you know, what you're creating, and even sometimes short little videos on, you know, techniques that you're using, and then just getting around to getting that edited and posted is such a challenge. So I have several videos that are at some stage in the editing process that I will hopefully be able to post shortly. But in the meantime, working on this nail, I just kind of kept that little cotton 2x2, and those are great. They have to be the lint-free wipes, and then I just use those to kind of swipe off the color. And it's okay if the colors get a little bit blended, because again, I'm just layering them and filling in all the open spaces until I have no gaps left. and then cured it for 60 seconds. And then finally I'm going to come in here and do the, I guess what would be considered the slushy portion of the pineapple drink, and smooth that all down and then cure that for 60 seconds as well. And then I'm going to grab some Beetles matte top coat again and go over that entire pineapple, sorry, I keep wanting to say coconut, pineapple portion. And then I'll come back in and use the glitter top coat from the Rosalind and just put that over the yellow portion of the drink so that it just kind of looks a little bit more icy, a little chunkier, and cure that for 60 seconds. And a fancy frozen drink would not be a fancy frozen drink if it did not have a cool little umbrella stuck in it. So here I'm coming in again with my fine point nail art brush and creating some black outlines of what would be the decorative umbrella. And after I finish doing all of those lines, I'll connect them together and then cure those for 60 seconds. Alright, now that that is completely cured, we're going to grab the rhinestone glue from MAC Art, and we're going to very carefully fill in the umbrella, because now I'm going to be using that foil, those neon color foils that I had shown at the beginning of the video. However, I've never used this type of product before, so I wasn't even sure how I go about picking it up to place it onto the nail. So first I grabbed my little kind of ombre brush and I dipped it into some of the isopropyl alcohol that I keep off to the side to clean my brush, and I just used that as, you know, just a little pickup tool because these foils are so thin, and I tried to find ones that were, you know, a shape that would fit kind of onto the triangular shape of the umbrella, and then I layered them on top of each other just a little bit. The tricky part for me was just even trying to get them to lay flat. So every time I added one in, I felt like it just kind of wanted to curl up. So after I cured it for 60 seconds, I decided to grab my UNAVAILABLE 3D sculpting gel and layer that on there to almost make it 3D, like the umbrella was popping off the nail a little bit, in order to cover up the fact that some of those foils would not sit flat for me. And then, of course, after using the 3D sculpting gel, I had to seal that. And so I grabbed the Gellaktik glossy top coat and just went over top of it with that, so that, you know, the 3D gel wouldn't be tacky and sticky. Okay, and it seemed to work. And I do like when things are kind of more three-dimensional on nails, especially when you're trying to do something more elaborate like this. And then I grabbed some pearl chrome powder, and I decided just to kind of glam up that milky white base that I use, which I didn't mention earlier. That is a Beetles color, I think it's F027. So after I rubbed that chrome on there, I came back in with the top coat again just to seal that chrome in, and I just thought it gave a little bit more of a shimmer and a shine to that white base. And that milky white base is slightly see-through, slightly sheer, so I thought that that would really give it that extra oomph it needed. Okay, and then I'm going to come back in, and because we have a larger section up near the cuticle portion of the nail, I wanted to add some more embellishment. So I grabbed my little set again of the plastic flowers and then the tiny rhinestones, and I just kind of chose contrasting colors. I wanted to do that light blue, which I thought would pick up some of the colors from the pineapple that I painted down below. So I thought that these blue ones were just a nice blend, and I didn't want to go overboard, but at the same time I did feel like it needed something more to accent this thumbnail. This video turned out to be a lot longer than some of my other videos in the past, and I think it's because there were so many different techniques and little additions like these tiny embellishments that just took a long time, and I edited out quite a bit. When I actually initially loaded all these videos in, it was like over 2 hours worth of footage. So I had to crop things way down, and I didn't realize you get kind of lost in the moment when you're doing nails, that you don't realize sometimes how much time you are actually putting into this set. And I usually always kind of storyboard my nails, so I draw out on a piece of paper like what my concept is. And I've mentioned in the past the website that I do get my nail art planners off of is the stamping site called Maniology, and I'll probably mention them again in the future, but that's where I get them from. So just to show you now, going back to the thumbnail, so this was actually the first nail I started with in the video initially. And this is where I'm using kind of the sheer white from Beetles, F027. And this one, I love this color, and I use this polish a lot when it comes to doing something with a milky white shade. And I did end up doing 2 coats because I wanted it to be not completely 100% transparent, almost like you're kind of looking through a fluffy cloud. So I wanted it to reduce the visibility, so 2 coats seemed to be good, but I didn't want it to over dominate the design. So I didn't want to go with like a really solid white, that was really super opaque. So the thumbnail, I was going to go ahead and do the pineapple on this. I wanted this to kind of be the showstopper of the set of nails, and what I did first was take that 25mm long liner brush and start drawing the shape of the pineapple. And I didn't want to show the entire pineapple on the nail. I wanted to kind of sit down towards the free edge, and then you'll see in a second I'm going to extend out and do, I don't know what you call, I guess, the top part of the greenery on the top part of the pineapple. I don't know if it's like called the plume or we'll just refer to them as the leaves. So I wanted this to also be super colorful. So what I decided to do was the same thing with the pineapple drink nail that you saw, the middle fingernail. I'm going to do this similar thing to this one, and I'm going to use lots of different colors of nail polish to make it just a kaleidoscope of fun, vibrant summer colors. In my mind, when I was doing this pineapple and coming up with the different color schemes for it. You know, I was really inspired by those images of, you know, the blues and the purples and the reds and just the contrasts that you would see, of course, at any kind of tropical destination. So I was kind of going along here and blending, similar, like I said, to what we did with that pineapple drink on the middle finger. So we end up jumping ahead here in the video. I don't know if maybe my camera or I should say my cell phone went on a coffee break or something, because I did not end up recording or capturing the part where I added all those little foil iridescent flakes to the bottom part of that pineapple. But like I said, we already kind of saw, you know, the technique and how I did it with the other part with the middle fingers, so it's basically the same exact thing. However, I did try at first to file down using a 180 grit nail file some of those flakes that were sticking up to kind of make it a little bit smoother, more even. I thought, well, maybe this would work. And I dusted off, used a little bit of the isopropyl alcohol, tried to check again to see if there were any other bumps and lumps. And this is where I was kind of debating in my mind as I was going back over and retracing the leaves, what I was going to try to do next to hide the fact that the foil was not sitting flat. And eventually I figured out, oh, wait a second, I could use some, 3D gel and apply that over top of the foil. Plus it would give the pineapple that 3D effect, kind of jumping off of the nail and enhancing it. So after I finished smoothing with the silicone tool, I came back in and I wanted to make those little, indentations that you find on the pineapple on the outside. I wanted to do that effect. So I went ahead and used the really thin, pointy part of the silicone tool and crafted that very distinguishing, grid pattern that you see on pineapples. And I did find that actually adding that depth with that 3D gel, it not only covered the fact that there were foils that were sticking up, but it gave it just this really cool 3D depth to it and shine from the holographic nature of those foils. And then I came in with the pearl chrome powder, just like I did on the middle finger, and shined up the rest of the nail to make it, just top it off, to really make it shine the entire thing. So I think it did add a little glamour to it. And then once I was done there, I just used a little bit of my cleanup brush with some of the alcohol to remove any of the powder that accidentally got onto the bottom part of the pineapple. Then I come in with my favorite Gellaktik top coat. It's the blue diamond top coat that they have, and finished off the nail, sealed it up. And then eventually I do go over the 3D gel there at the bottom on the pineapple, but I layer it in on the heavier side, and then I wipe off the brush and go back over to lift off a little bit so that I don't fill in all those little grooves that I made. Okay, now it's time for further embellishing, and this time I picked the purple flowers. I thought those are really beautiful and that they would, again, complement some of the colors that you see in the pineapple that I painted. After placing all the embellishments, I cured them for 60 seconds, and then I took a double look at things, and I thought, you know what, the leaves look a little flat now. So I came back in with some of that MAC Art gem glue and went ahead and traced over top of each leaf. And this probably wasn't the best product for the job, but because it is a little more runny, so maybe something a little thicker. I do find that like the Beetles rhinestone glue is a little bit on the thicker side, but the MAC Art did the job. I just had to work really quick and then cure it for 60 seconds. And then here I'm coming in and doing the dotting technique underneath the other nails. So like the ring finger and the pinky. And this time I was smart enough to cure and flip it over and stick it onto my nail stand and do it that way. So here I am coming in and cleaning things up after I've already added all the embellishments, the flowers and such onto the ring finger. And then I decided that I do like to put a little something extra on the ring finger. I think that that's a great nail for putting, you know, the larger gems or rhinestones. So I got a pack of these, well, it's like a different shapes, you know, like rectangle, square, and then pear shape, and some hearts as well of white rhinestones. So I went ahead and picked out this like teardrop or pear shaped one and put that on there on an angle. But then I noticed that after I placed it, there was still a large gap kind of around the perimeter of that rhinestone. So I wanted to fill in a little bit. So I grabbed some larger sets of pearls and dabbed those in, and then also grabbed some of the AB rhinestones, the really small ones from Hobby Lobby, and I went back in and filled all around the perimeter, and it really turned out spectacular. Wait till you see the pictures of it at the end. I think you're really gonna like it. So we're getting up close here to the end of the video, but I did want to jump back to the pointer finger, and now I'm going in and adding some of my silhouette palm trees. And I've been working on my palm trees. They have come a long way. Sometimes when you first start doing freehand, it's a bit of a mess. But luckily, you know, with some of the isopropyl alcohol, you can just wipe off if you mess up. So I have, you know, done my share of wiping off and going back over. But now I think I'm painting with a little more confidence. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I really love that contrast of the black against these bright, vibrant colors. And I liked leaving the top part there where the sunset is as matte finish, and then coming in with this glossy black for the palm trees. I just think it really adds such texture to the nail. And when I finish painting this palm tree, what I'll do is I'll take some of the gel top coat and I'll go over top of the palm tree just to kind of seal off the black. And the black again is a Beetles color. It's the F191 black. And I like that one because it's pretty dense. Like it's not super sheer, I guess is the best way to describe it. And here's a look at the completed set. I also did a palm tree on the pinky, but I just think it was a spectacular way to kind of throw in some of that fresh fruit, the pineapple, but then also keeping it super fun and tropical at the same time. Don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, to hit that like button and then also subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my future videos coming out. I will have some more Amazon nail hauls to share with you. And today, don't forget to be courageous and clever like a fox. See you next time.